quarter's numbers. So let's get Prakash Diwan on board. Prakash, post these earnings, do you see this as, some sort of a steady compounding story? I ask because there's nothing to fault in these numbers, and also the stock has not done much this year. So do you think there's a scope for a big upside maybe over the next 12 to 18 months?
Good morning, Sonia. So definitely, as compared to the 8% fall that we've seen in the stock, while these numbers continue to kind of stack up so brilliantly, there is always this catch-up that could happen. But remember, you also have to take it that this 5% names is something which may not be sustainable, as very clearly indicated by the management. So, but given the kind of scale that they have touched upon and the kind of processes that have started delivering, this is not something which is a one-off. There's nothing in the quarter that was one-off. So absolutely secular in terms of trend, and which means that if you could do this for 4 more quarters, why not? So my sense is there will be a lot of appetite for the stock, but it's been a consensus play in terms of the best private sector bank to go with. So while Kotak and Axis had their own share of issues and struggles, which means that the under ownership level that you would actually need for ICICI Bank to move up very rapidly is still missing. I mean, people have it in their portfolio to a significant extent, Sonia. So and it's not available cheap, right? So there will be a growth, but it will be gradual. There will be a growth in the stock price, which will be gradual. There will be appetite that will build as allocations keep on having to improve as percentages of overall AUM. But as you said, no fault finding here. There's absolutely nothing to complain. But then, it's also well discovered from that side. So I'm not expecting a very rapid climb all the way to 1100, 1200 or whatever levels that some of the brokerages have come up with. But yes, it definitely has the potential to do that. But give it time. Give it time. Don't expect fireworks on day one.
All right. Hi, Prakash. Good morning. Prakash, let's talk about the HDFC Group. You had, RBI commentary that came out on Friday, and it'll be positive. It's a step in the right direction for the merger. But I want to focus on HDFC Life. Yes, there are challenges to the business, and post, what we have heard in the budget, there's a very, very negative sentiment for the stock on the whole. Even after the positive update that we got, the stock corrected 5% from the top on Friday. But now the overhang with regard to that 49% stake, it will not come down to 30%. There's an option for the HDFC Group to go ahead and increase stake to around 50%. What's your view on the stock at current reckoning?
So, Nigel, that's a very fair point that you bring this out. So while the HDFC Bank and HDFC Limited merger has been given a lot of relief, if not all of those areas, but especially on the PSL, which we'll talk separately. I think the HDFC Life, HDFC Ergo waiver of sorts to own 50% is a big positive. It's a big positive for both these companies, for these subsidiaries, because there's this overhang that they would have to get out while the business is doing well. And if you look at the recent numbers on the VNB side, I think organically HDFC Life tends to be in a far more stronger footing than it has ever been in the last many years, given the product mix that they have been focusing on. So when that growth happens, and if the parent does not have to dilute and somebody doesn't have to buy it because it's available at a distress or a compulsion of sorts, it's definitely going to be a positive. My sense is we'll probably start seeing it being the top performer in the life insurance pack for sure, given this removal of this overhang. But you also have to look at there's so much happening. Result season is on. There could be people who would probably want to do it only when the merger starts gets closer to being effective, and not necessarily right now. But I don't see any further losses or disappointment on HDFC Life from here on, given this particular factor which was impacting sentiment.
Okay, Prakash, stay with us. We're just coming back to you, but we've got two analysts joining.